probably could tell, I'm on the worship team. But really quickly, I just want to tell you all why I'm on the worship team. So one day when I was in 2nd grade, my mom was singing at church, which was nothing unusual because she did it often. But that meant that I had to stay for 2 services. And probably by the 2nd hour, the only thing I was thinking of was what was for lunch, besides the one. But when I started paying attention to the service, I realized what song was playing. And it was a song about God's unending love for us. And I really started thinking about that, and I really started applying it to my life. And I realized that He created all of us for a purpose. So I decided to get baptized so I could share the love of God with everyone. But the night before I heard this song, I read about God's perfect love and in my devotional. I mean, how many of y'all have had that happen? Where you read about something, and then you hear about it, and then you hear a song about it, and just everything seems to point to that topic? Well, yeah, that day I figured out that that was God's way of speaking to us. So how does that explain why I'm on worship? Well, I gave my life to Christ through a worship song. And so I feel like I should praise and worship God for that by singing to Him and hopefully leading all of y'all to Christ through that. So let's just watch a real short clip from The Little Mermaid. That's my favorite Disney movie. And honestly, most of us probably didn't realize that we were going against God by not using our talents for Him. And I'm not saying that everybody in here never uses their talent for Him. I'm just saying we don't do it all the time. And I'll admit it, there are times when I'm playing volleyball that the only thing on my mind is playing well so that my coach will play me in the next tournament. And it's not bad to want to do well. It's not bad to want to play. But it is bad if that's your only reason for using your talent. So what do I mean by using your talent? I mean showing others Christ's love and forgiveness through something He's blessed you with the ability to do. If He's blessed you with the ability to create art, maybe you should create something that tells the story of Christ or shows His beauty in everything that He created. If you're blessed with the athletic ability, you can always encourage others instead of trash talking. And I know trash talking the other team is a whole lot more fun, but that's not how you show Christ's love. Build them up and encourage them. And if you show somebody something, it will last a lot longer than if you just tell them. So we each have our own talent, and we need to find how we can use that talent to glorify God. After all, He is the one who gave you that talent. And He loves us, and because He loves all of our talents, He has a way for each of us to use it uniquely for Him. Let's look at 1 Timothy 4:12. Do not let anyone despise you for your youth, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in in faith and in purity. So like I had just said, don't let anyone tell you that you can't use your talents for God. Sometimes singing a worship song isn't the most popular thing to sing about. So the world tells you that you need to sing about love and breakups and ungodly things. But God tells us to use our talent for His glory. The world tells you that if you are blessed with the athletic ability, that you need to use it to become famous or wealthy or popular. But in 1 Peter, God tells us that we need to use our talents and gifts to serve others. And the world tells us that some talents are better than others. But God loves all talents that are used to glorify Him. If the world is telling you all these lies about your talents, why are you using your talents to glorify worldly things? If you're not using your talent for good, you're either using it for bad or you're just not using it at all. So if you have your Bible, please open up to Matthew 25, 14 through 30. This is a pretty long scripture, so you can either follow along in your Bible or I'm going to have it up on the screen. It's Matthew 25, 14 through 30. I can't read that very well, sorry. For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted them to his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. And then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also, he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug it in the ground and hid his master's money. Now after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, and saying, Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little, so I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 talents more. And his master said to him also, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little, I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master. He also, who had received the 1 talent, came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours. But his master said to him, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I had not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him, and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. In this parable, they're talking about money. And I think it's pretty cool that they use the same word for money that we use as for a gift for God. So let's break this really long verse down so that we can understand what's really happening. So the beginning is really straightforward. There's a guy, he goes on a trip and leaves his property to his servants. He also leaves a few of them with some money. He gave them each talents based on their ability, and then 2 of the 3 servants went out and doubled their money. However, the 3rd servant went and hid the money, because he was scared of losing it. When the master came back, he went to collect his money. The 2 servants who had doubled it came back with the money, and they were blessed. But the 3rd servant came and told the master what he did, and the master told him that he'll go to a terrible place. So how can we relate? As far as I'm concerned, none of us in here are servants to someone. And none of us have owed somebody money and then expected it to be doubled by the time we give it back. But let's say in the scripture that the Lord's the master, and we're the servants. And we're going to use the word talent for talents instead of money. God gave us each our own talent, and he expects us to use them to further his kingdom. We need to be like the guys who went and doubled their master's money, and not like the guy who went and hid his talent. But if God has blessed you with a talent, you should never hide it. For example, my little brother Spencer is good at baseball. He can use that for God's glory. Samantha, which you just saw up on stage, is good at singing. She uses that for God's glory. A lot of y'all are really good at math. Y'all can use that for God's glory. And you should never hide your talent. I'm not saying that you should show it off in front of all your friends, but I am saying that you should never throw away an opportunity to show somebody's God's love using your talent. This isn't only for the students in here. Adults can also take something away from this. And a lot of adults I know just live in this routine world where they go to work and they take their kids places and they cook and they clean. So how can adults use their talents? Well, if you're good at singing, try auditioning for a worship band at your church. And I mean, you might not make it, but that's okay. People will see God's love in you and your love for God, and that's all that matters. There's something about my dad that little kids love. So he uses that and he goes and helps with toddlers at my church. Everyone can find something they can use to glorify God. So let's go back to 1 Timothy 4:12. Don't let anyone despise you for your youth, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Let's look at that first part where it says, for your youth. I can't tell you how many times I personally have seen an opportunity to share Christ, but I didn't take it because I was scared. I was scared because I thought I was way too young and that they wouldn't believe me. I thought that young people couldn't do great things, and man, I was wrong. It wasn't until someone shared this verse with me that I realized how wrong I actually was. I was scared of what the older kids thought of me. But now I know that younger kids actually inspire older kids. For instance, if you see a third grader come up to a group of teenagers and share Christ's love, it means a lot more than if you see a teacher share Christ's love. And as a kid, I always believed that only adults could inspire adults. But now I know that kids inspire adults as much as adults inspire adults. And we need to use that as 11, 12, 13-year-olds. We need to use that to glorify Him. We all think that we're older than we are and that we classify as adults, but think about how much more time we have to use our talents for God. I'm not meaning for this to discourage you at all. I'm meaning for this to encourage you to go and use your talent for God. And you might be sitting there thinking that God didn't give you as much talent as He gave the person next to you. And as mean as I'm going to sound, you are wrong. You are wrong. You were given the perfect amount of talent for God's plan for you. And you were given the perfect talent by the perfect person. And if perfect means no mistakes, and God is perfect, then God makes no mistakes. So the talent He gave you was given to you for a reason. It wasn't a mistake. People will try to make you think that what you're doing with your talent is wrong, that you shouldn't be doing that. And using your talent is only really a mistake if you're not using it for God. So going back to 1 Timothy, another key point in this verse is when it says to set an example for the believers. As followers of Christ and as believers, it's our job to show Christ to other believers, as well as non-believers. But just because we go to a Christian school doesn't mean that we're all pure believers. Just because somebody goes to church on Sunday mornings and every Wednesday night doesn't mean they're a believer. It just means that they know about God. And all that to say that you need to be using your talent for God at all times. Because you never know if somebody is watching you or looking up to you. And you never know, somebody just needs somebody to show Christ's love in a way that's not so slap in your face. However, you shouldn't only be using your talent when you know people will be watching. You need to do it at all times for God. You need to make sure that you're doing it for God's glory and not your own. And it's really easy to fall into the trap of sin and pride. Once you find your talent and you become really good at it, it's really easy to say that the only reason you're good at it is because you practice a lot, or you got it from your parents. And I really hope you all know by now that your parents, as awesome as they are, they didn't give you your talent. God did. The same God who created all the earth, everything imaginable, everything beautiful, cares for you and loves you enough to give you your own unique talent. So why wouldn't you use it to glorify God? In 1 Peter 4:10, it says, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Let's break that down quickly. This verse pretty much sums up everything I've talked about this entire chapel. We each have our own individual gifts, and the Bible just straight up told us to use it to serve others. So what's one way that you can help somebody the most? Share Christ's love with them. And the easiest way to do that is by doing it through something that you love to do. It's our responsibility responsibility as followers of Christ to be good stewards of what he's given us. And he's given us our talents. And so the only way to be a good steward of that is if we use it to glorify God. I have a friend, and she has an amazing talent, but she doesn't use it for God. She doesn't use it at all, actually. So how can she, her talent is singing. So how can she use that for God? Like I said earlier, she can use it by auditioning for a worship team. She can just simply write a Christian song. But just know that you're given the perfect talent, and God expects you to use it. And so everything that you do with your talent needs to glorify him. So my big idea was that we each have our own talent that we need to use to glorify the one who gave it to us. In the life app, so like what you can take away from this, is that you need to find a way to use God's given talent to glorify him. He cares for you enough that he gave you your own unique talent. So I'm going to close in prayer really quickly, and then we'll be dismissed. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you again for everything you've blessed us with, Lord. I pray that you will help us all to use our talents to glorify you, Lord. I pray that you will help each individual person here know that they were given the perfect talent, Lord, and that you expect them to use it for your glory. I pray that you will help us all through this week to use everything that you've given us to glorify you, Lord. And I pray that everything we do will show your love to others. Amen. Woo!